Christine Bumstead will be with him. Husky women's hockey assistant coach, and last month on the bench with the Florida Panthers down here in South Florida. Hey, Christine, welcome to the RP Show. I want to thank your boss, Shannon Chin, with the U of S for lining up this chat with you. It truly is an honor. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself before we get into this Panthers thing and your hockey road?
Yeah, so I guess my hockey road might be unique compared to others. I have the opportunity to work with a lot of different athletes in a lot of different programs. I've been in Sask this is my 4th season with the Huskies women's hockey team as an assistant coach. This is my 2nd year in player development with the Saskatoon Blades. Before that, I was in Manitoba. So Manitoba is roots for me. I'm also fortunate enough to be the head coach for the U18 Team Manitoba girls. We're going to be heading to the national championship at the start of November here, so a month away today. And then I also work as a head coach for the deaf women's national hockey team as well. So those are kind of my current roles that keep me very busy and give me a vast kind of demographic of players. And yeah.
Sure. Well, clearly very busy. So I'm even extra honored that you would find some time for us. I looked you up on Elite Prospects, Winnipeg girl. And I think the big part of this whole story is that your dad and Paul Maurice were friends. You better tell me how that, because in all the stories I read about this, it never really said how those two were buddies from Winnipeg, Paul Maurice and your dad.
Well, it all started through a working relationship, actually. So my dad, he worked in like the youth hockey development program with True North, who owns the Jets. So he was running out of that facility, the practice facility for the Jets. And when Paul became the coach of the Winnipeg Jets, we kind of met up that way. I went to high school and played with Paul's daughter. So we had that connections. And so just knew each other all from being around the rink and playing together and things like that.
Well, that's very exciting. So there's no doubt that you earned your opportunity to come down and work the development camp here in July and then come back for training camp and then be on the bench. Take me through your summer with the Panthers and how cool that was.
You know, it was a really unique and kind of like once in a lifetime learning opportunity for me to when they contacted me to see if I was interested in coming to development camp. Obviously, I jumped at it. I'm always looking for any opportunity to like just grow and learn from other coaches. So I was like, why not? And then one series later, they won the cup. So then it was extra special to be going and being around just the winning pedigree there. And then when the invitation was extended to come back for training camp, that was another one I couldn't say no to. I knew I had to go.
Well, that's one thing to be at the development camp, but then to be in training camp and be on the bench, which Paul put you on. This is the elite of the elite of the elite. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. What was it like to be on the ice with those guys?
It felt different from development camp. Obviously, development camp, you have your prospects, your up and coming, your next NHL stars, and then at training camp, it's the current NHL stars. So they're fast, they're skilled. They're pros. That's one of the biggest things you take away is they're pros. Their practice habits and preparation habits of the players is something that you don't see often. And I really take note of all that. And then to be on the bench you just see it at a closer level. Like as a coach, to see a game on the bench, that's where we're used to watching a game from rather than in the stands. So it's different and that's like the learning level is like when you're looking at it that level, that's when you're learning, that's when you're seeing things, and that's where we see the game from. So it was cool to watch it from that level rather than watching it on TV because you just pick up more of the details and more of the systems in that sense.
Of course. So was it the first or second game against Nashville that you're on the bench for, or both?
I was on for the second game, the evening game.
The Stamkos debut. What was that like seeing him on the ice in 91 in yellow?
Yeah, it was definitely unique. What I was excited about too was that was also the Tanner Mollendijk game. So that was Tanner plays with us with the Blades, so he was there in game 2 also. So it was cool to see him in yellow, wearing number 50 out on the ice also.
That is very exciting. Now, Before I talk about what your ultimate goal is, you talk about this whirlwind of a life you lead. Back in Saskatoon, you're clearly in the dressing room in the beautiful Merlis Belcher Arena. What's life? What did you take from this camp and experience here back to the Huskies?
So much. I think every coaching opportunity I have, or opportunity to just be around other coaches, I'm always looking to learn and see how they prepare, how they coach, how they plan, how they address the players, all those things. So I definitely learned a lot, and I'm taking a lot away from Paul and his staff, from being down there to come back here, and just how can I adapt it and mold it and make it something that my girls here can thrive under and learn from and be successful with. It's just about a learning opportunity for me. And I think hopefully has made me and will make me a better coach for it. And then hopefully it can help me make my players here better players and see some success.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, because I don't know when I'm going to talk to you again, just about the Panthers culture. This is the 4th season I've been around this team. And from the moment I showed up, I'm like, wow, first class. It did not shock me that they ended up winning a Stanley Cup. Can you talk about your experience being around this team? Not just Pomo, but everybody?
It starts from the top. It starts from the top with Paul and Zito and right through his whole staff, and then the players and the leaders and everything. Like, it feels like a winning culture. It feels like a professional culture. You can really tell, like, the players love each other, and there was a clip actually from the playoffs that we looked at during development camp, and it was after they scored a goal in round 2, and they scored a goal, and all 5 guys got in this like really tight hug, like a huddle, before they went and did their flyby. And actually, Jordy Kinier, he's the head coach in Charlotte with their American League team, and he showed me that clip, and he said, when I saw that clip, I knew they were going to win the Stanley Cup, because that's just like a tight group of brothers. And that's what it feels like when you're there. Everybody, it's just a tight group of brothers, from the support staff, the coaching staff, management, players, everybody. It's just a tight group. And then going forward in that is they embraced me and brought me into that tight group. Like, I never felt like an outsider when I was there. I felt just like embraced right away into the culture. And I think that speaks really highly for how they've created it there, because you know that when they have a new player coming in, whether it's a rookie or if they traded a guy in or signed a new guy, I know what it feels like to just be immediately welcomed into that space. And I think all new players coming in have the same experience, and that's how they're able to gel so well, both on the ice and off the ice, and their systems and things like that. It just comes from that like brotherhood or family feeling, how they just bring everybody in.
Yeah, they don't just talk about it, they do it. They enact it every day. It's unbelievable. Every team should follow what they do. And I'm sure the Huskies are looking to do the same thing. And with you, I saw Paul say about you, Pomo said, she'll get there, i.e. coaching your own team one day. Is that the goal? Or what do you see? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I think I just want to make sure that I'm developing whatever players I'm working with. Like, I love my position here with the Huskies. I love being able to, like, I've really built a lot of relationships on and off the ice with these players. And that's the unique thing about college hockey, is you get them for 4 or 5 years. So you really see them at the start and where they end up, and just getting all of their development, and both as women and as players. And so I've loved it here, and it's been a learning every day moment for me. Same thing with the Blades now, is like, you've built those relationships with those players, and just getting them to their next step, what their next goals are, both in their season and in their future, and getting to work with those guys. So for me, my goal is always just to make sure I'm learning and putting in the work so that I can make whatever players I have the gift of working with, just making sure that they're developing and the program is succeeding and doing well, both in the current season and in the future.
Well, good luck with it. Go Dogs. I appreciate the time, and thanks to Shannon for lining this interview up. Our mutual friend, Christine, thanks for this. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much.
Christine Bumstead, U of S women's hockey assistant coach.